Okay, so let's talk about the history, homing in on the Black Springs area. Why is Our Story Inc. interested in Black Springs?
Well, once again, that was one of the finds, you know, in searching out the black community and the unsung and who lived here and why and what was what. When I first heard of Black Springs and all the black people lived up there, you thought, oh, the nickname is Black Springs because of the black people. And it wasn't. It was because there was a creek up there that was, you know, real dark, and that came about, and it was called Black Springs. That's at least that's what I heard. There's several different versions, but after I started investigating what Black Springs was all about, it changed the narrative in the firefighting situation because there was a Black Springs volunteer fire department run by black firefighters, basically, you know, the majority. And I said, well, I thought we were the first and only, but come to find out, we weren't. They were. And so then I started trying to investigate more, and I said, well, that's the story that needs to be told or, you know, shared. And so I started, you know, pursuing and finding more information so that I thought it needed to be told.
So when you say the first and only black firefighters, are you talking about all of Nevada, or are you just talking about northern Nevada?
Well, in Black Springs, when they started, they basically were all in Nevada. You know, still trying to get the information on who was the first and what year the first firefighter was hired down in Las Vegas. But the way it seems that they were probably the first that were actually fighting fire. Now, as far as the station goes, they are the only black fire station or department that's ever been in this state. So, you know, everybody else shares, you know, they're part of a, you know, larger, you know, department.
Okay, talking about the history of Black Springs, we talked about why Our Story is interested in Black Springs. The history of Black Springs is basically you had African American families who started moving into this particular area because there was land that they could afford, they could have a home, and they could start building a life for themselves. So it probably started somewhere in the mid-50s, early 50s, that these families started moving into the Black Springs area. They were buying property from a man named Sweat, who would sell them a parcel, and most cases there was a mining shack that was on the property that they bought. So they took those mining shacks and they started working on them and turning them into homes. As time went by, more and more of these African American families would move into the area, just trying to make it a home. They had many challenges. They had challenges of getting electricity or proper electricity so that they could, you know, light their homes and run their appliances. They had issues with sewer, and they had to work hard to get help with sewer issues. A person actually passed away because of the sewer issues that they had there. They had problems with water. They couldn't get help with water. They, for many years, had to take big containers to other places to get water and bring it back into their community. They also had issues with their homes burning and not being able to get timely help from the city of Reno, so that that help could get there in time to save their home. So it was a real problem, all of these utilities and all of these services that they had to figure out while they lived out in the community that they were making home. That's why they ended up with a Black Springs Fire Department, because they needed to have ready and timely help when their homes caught on fire. And now we're talking about wood shacks in most cases, so they burnt pretty quickly. So it was really something they had to establish. Was very urgent. So they created the Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department. And as time went by, they gathered equipment and vehicles to help them with fighting fires. Eventually, they built a garage out of brick that would house their fire equipment and their fire truck, their water truck, that they didn't have to worry about burning down. And so they had a safe place for all of those equipment that they vitally needed to save homes. And in the forming of that building, they established a physical location for the Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department. And the first chief, and we believe the only chief, for that Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department was William Lobster Sr. And that is how we got to the point where we wanted to save the history, not only, or share the history and preserve the history, not only for the Black Springs community, but also for that fire department, which, like I said, the building still stands.
And now we have William Lobster Jr. come up and talk about William Lobster Sr.
You gotta excuse me for a moment, because this is a very emotional time.
All right. It's okay, take your time.
Any one of these men that helped raise this community could have been named fire chief. Any one of them, Mr. Carter's uncle Jeff, you name it. My father was dedicated to this community. Not only was he fire chief, he started Valley Providence Little League because there was no organized Little League baseball in the valleys. And when I read Helen's book about the struggles that they went through just to get basic services, you know, my mother and father were at the forefront of that, along with the Williams, the Carpenters. There's numerous people out there that helped develop this community to what it is. And as I was at home in Oregon, thinking about, wow, I wouldn't change where I grew up and how I grew up for $1 million, because it molded and shaped the man I am today. And my father was amazing. He was amazing. He was stern, but he was amazing. And the community, there's a shirt that my second older sister, a t-shirt that she gave me, and it says, it takes a community to raise a child. And that's what this community was about. And so I'm just honored to be here. I want to thank Helen and the people who put this together. I'm a little nervous, as you can tell. But I'm honored and proud to be here. As a part of the Black Springs community. Thank you.
So now we're going to talk about the preparation of getting that building to use it as a museum.
Well, that process was, I would say it wasn't as tough as it was long. We didn't come up against a lot of resistance, but just a lot of lack of knowledge, just like with the history, period. So we contacted the commissioner for that district, District 5, Jeannie Herman, and told her what we were thinking about, since it did exist and the building was still there, the original building, nothing had changed. And she didn't really know about the building, but was gonna, check into it. And so, but she wasn't against us pursuing what we wanted to do as far as trying to restore it. And so she suggested, she was going to bring it up at the commission meeting, and that maybe we wanted to come to the meeting and explain it to the commissioners what we wanted to do. And that's how we started. That's what we went through. It was surprising because the commissioners didn't know that they were using the building for storage, and Parks and Rec were a part of it, and once again, that the building even existed.
Request some snow removal because it looks like we've got pushing that all the way back. So I'll make sure we get that done.
Okay. So this is Colleen Barnum. She has got everything open for us. And we're checking it out. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think. Did he say leave you some desks? Yeah. All right, we got some chairs. Yeah, so it looks much better without all this.
Greg Claiborne.
I took a picture of that, so I'm gonna have them make sure we get it.
To help us celebrate.
Over that.
His wife Lori, who's hiding behind me.
I'll make sure we get that covered, because that's the only thing I can see that probably didn't get done. But it looks like we put all the covers, right, some of these electrical outlets working great. It looks good. And they marked this for you. It looks like you got, this is the inside light, so just give me a second, I'm just gonna turn it off, right? And then this outside, this just stays on, because there's a photocell, so it'll come on at night automatically. As soon as it gets dark, that photocell, where there's not sun on it, then the lights turn on for safety. So it's good to just keep that in the up position when it's on. Yeah. Otherwise, it's here. Here we go.
There's no alarm in this building, but there's an alarm next door.
Right. No alarm in this building.
Is there cameras in the building?
I don't think there's cameras.
Okay.
No, we don't have cameras. I think we only have cameras at one of our buildings.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you're interested, right, in any improvements, just let me know, and then we can approve and, go from there if there's anything that you want to.
Probably one of the first ones would be to put the sign up in the front.
Yes.
That was originally.
something else to let them know that it's not an active station.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And then we're gonna recheck on the engine because I think it's 23 feet long. And I talked to the guy yesterday. We'll try to see if we can get a smaller one, but they wanted to work on it. And they thought, they said, well, we could bring it in and put it in here. But then it had to sit and we couldn't display. We want to be able to pull it out front.
I gotcha.
And
And
then
that's part of
use
it.
the sides.
Yeah, you want to be able to have the space in the walls and, yeah, to be
Right.
able to walk around, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks good.
Yeah. Let's make sure the garage door works. Want to try that?
Oh,
It's
yes.
gonna be loud, so.
Okay.
I don't want to freak anybody out. Okay, here we go. Yeah, all right.
That's not bad.
No, that's not
bad.
Mine is loud too.
Colleen Wallace Barnum. I always want to say it the other way. But you talking about a rock. This lady is a rock. If it wasn't, everything we needed, everything from the contract to opening the doors to getting inspectors, the rock. If we email her, she could be on vacation and we'll email her. When she get back in the office, she gets right back to us. Okay, what you need, what you need. And we appreciate it so much for having her and being as efficient as she was and kind and patient. That's what kind of put us over the top. And for the next 5 years, we're probably gonna be bugging the heck out of her. Did you have anything that you wanted to say? Come on up.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to say that Kenneth and Demetrius have been incredibly gracious and patient because I became a part of this process in January of last year. Met with Chief Moore. We opened the building on a snowy day and we all went inside and looked at it and thought, okay, well, knowing that this was part of our history, how can we make this happen? So that was when my history lesson began, because I started looking through when the park property was deeded to the county, which was in 1969. And this building, there was no information on this building, and I really struggled to find where, I could find more information on it. So really our story has the information on the building and the structure, and thank you so much for sharing that. So it was a structure on the property. Park maintenance staff actually used it as a maintenance shop for probably 25 to 30 years. It's where we made our routed signs for our parks, and we had a lot of equipment in there. And then North Valley's park became a more of a regional, larger park, and that had a maintenance shop. So this building always was used for storage. So just to give you a little bit of history about how it was used, and we're really glad that we took good care of it, because when we did take good care of it, it's now in good hands to pass over to our story, to then really share the rich history. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was the background from the building itself. The mission of Washoe County Parks is to provide exceptional parks, open space, and recreational opportunities while preserving our natural, cultural, and historic resources. I can't think of a better combination of missions than our stories and Washoe County Parks, because we are now, providing the information for the community, the larger community, of what this special place was built for. And I listened to the podcast last night to sort of get in the moment of being here, and it's really incredible what this community's been through. So thank you so much for, again, like Commissioner Hill said, the resiliency, because without that, we wouldn't be here today. So I'm honored to be here and to be able to have an opportunity to speak to you all. So thank you.
The Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department was formed by the community in 1968. So I think that's important that we know when it was formed, and that the building, the actual building that we have turned into the Northern Nevada African American Firefighter Museum, the Northern Nevada African American Firefighter Museum, was built in 1970. So the Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department existed 2 or 3 years before the permanent building was built.
Right, but they actually were trying to put out fires in 1963
Yes.
because that's when they got the truck. So NDF had made a contract with them and said, okay, this is what you'll do. And in the contract with NDF, Nevada Division of Forestry, they had stipulated that they were going to have a building to house the truck that they were getting. And then they gave them some kind of
Some sort of a
covering,
structure.
to put the truck in, and I think it caught on fire or something like that.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah. And then that's when they said, look, we're gonna build this, and they housed the truck in there, for winters and stuff like that. The tank wouldn't freeze, somebody wouldn't mess with the truck, and they had it in there starting in 1970 after the building was built. But you're correct, in 68 they actually formalized the
Black
Springs Volunteer Fire Department itself, but they were kind of trying to take care of things the best they could since about 1963.
By the time Reno Fire Department would get out here, the house would be burnt down or wherever the fire was. I mean, back in the day, the neighbors could pull out their water hoses, but we all know a water hose is not going to stop a house fire. So we went to the county commissioners and we asked if we could get a firehouse out here and a truck. And of course, they sent us through many a task in order to get it. And in the end, we said, we'll build our own. The neighbors, a lot of them work construction, some of the local businessmen, lumber people, companies, concrete companies. Once they saw what we were doing, they donated their time, some supplies to help us build what we were trying to build. Bricks, every brick in there, the community did it. I'm telling you, this used to be a one heck of a tight-knit community. Anything we needed done, we got it done by coming together. And one of the things I would like, all those that grew up here in the 50s and 60s, stand up for a minute. Here in Black Springs. They know exactly what I'm talking about because they lived that same era that I lived. And our fathers, our mothers, they all came together. When you go in that firehouse, you'll see pictures of the whole community building that firehouse. There's even a picture of my mother who's sitting right there. Stand up on her.
Come on in, Jerry.
There's a picture of my mother wheeling a wheelbarrow full of stuff and picking up other supplies, delivering it. She still lives in this neighborhood today. My mother's been out here for 66 years. 66 years. And all of our parents that are out here, she's the last living adult back from those days that is still here. And we had to have her here today to honor her too. The last house that burned down out here was the Allen's house. And they were left homeless. And that was when we commissioned to get a fire truck to put in the firehouse. The county commissioner said, if you build a building to store it, we will give it to you. And basically, they donated the truck to us. We had that fire department going up until 1986, I believe it was. And it's really good to see all these firemen out here today. Very good. I tell you, when we were putting out a lot of the supplies, the coats, the pens, even down to the little nozzle they use, that stuff is heavy. I don't know how you guys do it, but I guess that's why you're so buffed, huh? But that's a lot of weight to carry to put out fires for all of us. You know, I mean, when we call the fire department, these are the guys that come weighing all that heavy stuff, carrying all that heavy equipment to help put out a fire. So I just want to thank them too. And I just want to thank everybody who came out today to help us celebrate what to us is a very, very special day. You don't know how long. Bonnie Weber knows. You don't know how long we've been waiting for this day. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And the building, again, the buildings they had before, structures they had before to house their equipment, what little bit they had, more than likely were made out of wood and did probably were in danger of burning, or maybe some had burned. So they needed something that wouldn't burn. So the garage that they built in 1970 was built from cinder blocks. The community all came together and donated money. There were some businesses that donated material, and they just pulled it together with what they had. Definitely a community that did what they could with what they had.
Right, and they got a lot of help from the university. I think it was Vista volunteers that helped them out of the university. So they had a lot of help from there. And doing the grants and things like that. That's where, what's it?
Andy Gordon?
Andy Gordon.
Yes.
Came,
came in and really helped out. As a matter of fact, he lived out there for a little while.
Right.
While he helped them, is my understanding. Here we go, the second one.
Always help to have somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. I would have been trying to take the whole thing apart.
I would be saying, unplug that plug and let me stick it in first.
Right? Oh, for sure, man. I wouldn't be going for this one. I would be plugged in.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna get back.
Unplugged up? Sure.
They both work.
Scared the heck out of me, Bob.
Yeah, I caught you jumping.
Did you? I didn't know you were gonna plug it in. I was wondering how you did it.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
Wow, they both work.
Oh, we gotta get conduit.
Sweet.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So we're talking about the event itself. So Our Story Inc. was really excited about being able to do the soft opening for the Northern Nevada African American Firefighter Museum. Our soft opening occurred on February 26th, and it was a wonderful event, and we really enjoyed the whole process. So tell us about the soft opening, the event itself.
The event itself, I think, well, we were trying to thank the people, the commissioners, and the volunteers that we had helped put together, or help to restore the building, and the commissioners for giving us the opportunity to have the building. And so that's, why we called it a soft opening. It wasn't really open to the public. But despite that, we had a pretty good showing, which surprised us. We were expecting maybe 25 to 30, 40 people, and we had close to 100. So
Actually, it was over 100.
Was
I
it?
think the last count was about 130.
wow.
Yeah, and the amazing part about that too is after we came out of the building to do the ribbon cutting, I noticed even more people. Some people left, but some more people showed up. So really, we don't know exactly how many.
Parents, come on.
All volunteers.
All the volunteers.
I pay attention to detail.
All the volunteers. Hey, Dwayne. Bernard, come on. Bernard, bring your hat back here. Mark. His hat. Oh, there you go. You gotta represent. Hey, is Helen's,
Yeah, she's waiting. She's okay.
okay, now,
Yeah. Remember to love it, okay? Okay. You over here.
I don't know. Well, here we go. We're going to try to cut this, and from here forth, the resurrection of the Black Springs Fire Department Museum. It was supposed to be like automatic, open sesame, live TV. Take your time, everybody. Be careful walking through, and thanks again for coming. Yeah, and it was nice. Everybody was in good spirits and really positive about what we were trying to do, and that was exciting. And we had a lot of people that were involved with fire and fire departments, as well as collectors. We had several collectors there that were really excited about what we were doing and volunteering to even do more. And so that was exciting for us.
We were really grateful too. Ken mentioned the volunteers. We were very grateful for the volunteers who put in hours. Some of them put in hours and hours of work, building panels and painting and repairing and cleaning, and there was a lot of work put into that building before we even got to February 26th.
Yep, it was nice. And people said it was nice. They were sending us letters and emails.
Yeah.
And then other people were disappointed because they thought it was the grand opening. And we said, no, we still going to open it to the public. So
Yes.
that's coming.
Yes. So, how do you feel about everything up to this point? How it's all
Well, I feel, great. I think since 1996, we've been pursuing, something that we thought was very important, highlighting the accomplishments of the unsung heroes, that live in this area. And it's actually starting to happen, and people are starting to respect and understand that that's an important part of why Reno, Washoe County is what it is today, because there were these unsung heroes playing a part in everything that everything that has happened in this area to develop to what it is today, and we're a part of that now. I think these are some of the things that could be, because we have some books in the school district now, but they can start doing reports and more research on people that have lived in this area and tell the story, the real story of how this place came about.
I think that's a good point, because I know sometimes every now and then we'll hear someone say, well, why can't it just be history? Why does it have to be categorized as African American history? Well, it is history. It is American history. It is Nevada history. It is Northern Nevada history. But it is a category within that history. And it is the African American history, or the accomplishments of those who aren't well represented in the Northern Nevada public image. That's our story's mission, is to seek out, to share, to exhibit, to preserve the contributions, the culture, the heritage, the accomplishments of people who are not well represented in Northern Nevada's public image. And our stories, Inc.'s mission, it just falls right in line with us telling the story of Black Springs and the Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department, and other stories of unsung, no matter what color they are. But in this particular case, they are African American, and we just, are sticking with our mission and just putting emphasis, a spotlight on that particular category of Northern Nevada history. So we don't want folks to feel that we are singling ourselves out. Actually, what we want to do is to be included in the narrative, and that's what it's all about. It's not a way of singling out or pushing away certain folks and bringing in others. It's about telling the story.
Totally. We're trying to, me personally, I wish we didn't have Black History Month. I wish we didn't emphasize this is the African American Fire Museum, but it's not being shared. It's not in the history books, and the narrative is being told, this is how this is how this happened, and this is how this area was developed, and you're like, well, no, that's not totally true if we were telling the whole story. Just like with us, and people say, well, you're not, did you go to school to be a historian? Is this just something you do on the side? Or and I said, no, this is my life. I live this. And so I'm sharing with you what I live every day. Now, just because it's not written down somewhere and somebody didn't have a journal or put it in some document doesn't mean that it's not true. And I think a lot of those people are finding that out now, because just with what we've done, there's been so many people starting to talk and say, oh, I remember. And then you can investigate and see they were right. It's not written down all the time, but there's some truth to what people are telling you. And I think a lot of the historians and the experts are starting to see that now and respecting that there is a story there. You know, it takes a little bit of digging and it takes a little bit of trust from the people that you're talking to. But once it gets rolling, it definitely opens up those gates and you get the information that you've been, you know.
It took us about 2 years to actually get to this point. But you know what? We did it right. We dotted the I's, we crossed the T's. We did what we were supposed to do. That's the way you do things. And that's the way we want to do things. We want to do it, you know, the right way, as they say. So when we did get through that process, County Manager Brown was very supportive. Said anything that we need, he was there for us. And I appreciate that. So let's give him a hand. The first person that I called right out the gate was Commissioner Herman, because this is her district, District 5, correct? And so I could not, I guess I could have approached it another way, but being this was her district, I figured if I got approval from her, we had a, be safe, y'all. Thanks for coming. If I called her that and got approval, then it was the perfect way to, you know, to go ahead and then approach the commission as a whole. And she did. She said, I think it's a good idea. I'll bring it to the commission. Let's go forward. So then I was like, yes. And that's what we did. The next person was, during that 2 years, was Commissioner Hill. Man, smiling all the time. Keeping everybody positive, you know, saying, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, just, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And sure enough, it happened. Amen. And we appreciate that. I'm gonna ask her to come up and say a few words here, but I wanna also, you know, acknowledge some other people that I don't have on here. The other person that was that was really positive and I had never met before was the Chief Moore. I'm telling you, he came over here, first time all of us went into the building, and then he said to me, he goes, anything you want? You know. I was like, really? And he was right there. I could call the office, get a hold of him, no problem. But send him a text or email, and he'd get right back to me. I appreciate that. And so it just made you feel better that what you were doing was the right thing to do. And so that's how I carried it forward. And I have one more person, but I want Commissioner Hill to come up if she wants to say a few words.
Yay.
On behalf of the County Commission, I wanted to say to this community, thank you for your resiliency. I'm so sorry that this commission has let you down in the past, but we're here to support you, and I'm really thrilled that I'm able to donate $5,000 from my discretionary funds for this museum, and we want to continue to support your community. And thank you for really highlighting this rich history. This is incredible, and I'm really excited to continue the partnership. So looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
My name is Greg Black. I'm a OurStory.Inc. board member, longtime friend of Kenny Dalton, our founder. And I first learned about this building through Kenny. I've been in Nevada running businesses for some 30-something years and never even knew about the history of the building, which kind of speaks to the importance of the mission of Our Story and what we're doing and the vision that Kenny had. So I'm really pleased and proud to be a part of this day and to see it actually come to fruition as it has. Really says a lot to the work of Kenny and the determination, and it's 2 thumbs up for Our Story in their efforts to share history and tell Nevada stories to Nevadans.
So my name is Maurice Carter. Been with Reno Fire Department now for 17 years. Born and raised here in Reno, Nevada. Before I got hired, I went to Station 5 to meet up with Kenny Dalton to ask him about interview questions and different things. Kenny's been a pretty big inspiration, so to see this building and everything come along the way it is, and the amount of hard work that he's putting into this building has been just amazing. It brings me great joy to see everything going on, and for years to come, not just for this building, but just for the Black community and Nevada Black history, period. Dee and Kenny just amazing people and do an amazing job, and I'd like to say thank you.
My name is Terrence Hammond, and this is amazing. I don't know, just Ken asked me to come and paint something here, so I'm going to be painting a mural, and coming out and seeing the whole community together, it's like an honor to be a part of that. This is, like Demetrius said, this community was here when it started, and like it still feels that way, so I'm grateful that this is here in Reno. We need this. We need more proper representation, and I love it.
Yes, and give me more details about proper representation. Tell me what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, being from Reno, I'm from Reno myself, and there's the Black population here. We're here, but it's not. You think of Reno and it's a different demographic, but we're all in this together, and we've always been here. So I think documenting that in the right way and like having this kind of museum is the most important thing.
Very good. And then you, as a young Black man, how important is this type of history here in this city?
For me, I'm 25, I'm young, so I didn't know any of this stuff. And like they were saying, like they got this from Ken and Demetrius and all this history from these people that have lived here 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And I think that needs to be taught. I should have known about that. I should have been taught that in school instead of something else.
My name is Desmay Ware. I am Deborah Grant's daughter and William Lobster's granddaughter. Today is really special. It's really monumental. I have his 2 grandsons here, and it's really amazing.
And what are you studying?
We're trying to learn our times tables, and then we're trying to learn how to divide and subtract.
Okay, and so you're able to go to school because your ancestors were able to go to school and they paved that way for you, and the Black people before you and I, they paved the way for us to be able to take care of ourselves and to do things. How does that make you feel?
Very, much more excited.
And when you get older, who are you going to pave the way for?
The Firefighter company.
There you go. And how are you going to do that?
By helping them take out the fires, and I'm going to help them, and the people that are in the fire, I'm going to take them out immediately.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you do that in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, as a new resident to Reno for 7 years, this Our Story and this museum has really informed me about things I didn't know about Reno, the history of the different areas like Black Springs I never heard of until now. So yes, this is very informative.
Hi, I'm Claire Munoz. I'm with the Nevada Museum of Art, and we are so happy for Kenny Dalton and for Demetrius Dalton and for Our Story and being able to preserve this really special moment here in Reno and Washoe County so that everybody has a better understanding of the history of this region and they can continue to tell these really important stories. So it's wonderful. Thanks for having us here today.
Well, it gives me a great feeling because I didn't grow up here, but I've been here over 50 years.
Yes,
and
sir.
this really used to be nothing but desert. This is mainly where the blacks lived, you know, out here. And it just gives me great joy that this day was recognized.
Yes.
Black Springs was, because they went through a lot of hardships out here.
Yes, sir.
And I just thank God for all the people that's gone in, you know.
Yes, sir.
Mainly the ones that I know, like the Cartons, you know. A lot of things was said today that was nice to hear, but if I had a choice of speaking, I would have spoken about the Cartons, Mayella Carton and
It's your
Thurman
chance.
Carton
Yes.
Sr., because they didn't have to really go into town to go to church, you know.
Yes.
They have built this building that I am a member of today.
Yes.
You know, that I thought if I had a chance to speak, I'd have spoke about that.
Yes.
Because God is first in my life.
Yes.
You know, so everything that was made possible that we talked about today was because of Him.
That's right.
You know?
Amen.
So I just thank God that I was able to be a part of this celebration today.
I'm Stephanie Gibson. I'm with Nevada Humanities, and we've been so honored to support the work of Our Story Inc. over the last number of years. And seeing another museum and sort of historic site being represented and celebrated in this region is just so wonderful. Telling these stories of communities around the state is what we believe in at Nevada Humanities, and it's just such a pleasure to be a part of this today.
Hi, my name is Deborah Lobster Grant. I am the first child of William Lobster, who was the first Black Fire Chief, volunteer fire chief in the state of Nevada. Today is an awesome day, you know.
Yes, it is.
When we were here, when I was growing up in Black Springs, there was a lot of unity with all the families and everything. And when my dad became chief, it was like we were always, whenever there was a fire, his daughters, who he had five total, we would pray for everybody when they went out to a fire. And so for him to be recognized like this is just, you know, when you go around and you think what your dad did, what your parents did, it's just I could cry if I really thought about it, I could cry. But it's awesome to know that this is my dad.
Yes.
He is my father. And the things that he did for us as a family, for the community, was just phenomenal. And so I thank everyone. I thank our Story Inc., Ken and Mimi Dalton for doing this. And we're just going to go on and tell the story.
That's right. Keep telling the story.
Keep telling.
So how do you feel about working on this project and what this project means to you?
I love working on projects. I mean, this is big because this is my hometown and definitely where, you know, Africans, Americans were allowed to, definitely a place where African Americans were allowed to grow and thrive. And it's a part of history that should be acknowledged for the Reno area and kept alive. I love doing my part to do that.
All right, so Anthony, what does it mean to you to be working on this building?
It means a lot because it gives me more knowledge of what has happened in this city. I didn't really know too much about the Black Fire Station until now, and then being able to help build it and bring it to life essentially is it's nice to see history in action, and it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, no, that's good. What about you, Daryl?
What about me, Daryl?
Mr. Simmons?
Well, it's just nice to know where things came from, the roots of things, the foundation of things, and this was a foundation. This was somebody's essentially home, workstation, you know, and so to shed light on it, you know, where it was dark for so many years is just, you know, putting light on it and it's showing it and it's bringing it forward so that people can see. So, and I like to see that because it's, you know, I like classic cars and old school things like that. So falls right in line with that. Plus, you know, I'm a firefighter, or was a firefighter, and this was a fire station. And so once a firefighter, always a firefighter. So once a fire station, say no more.
All right. What about you, Mr.
Same question. I don't get
Same question. How do you feel about?
Well, like Anthony and Daryl just said, I'd like to reiterate that, you know, this community had a purpose and a need for a fire department, you know, to serve them out here. The history was as they came in and made the Black Springs Fire Protection District a volunteer fire station. So what they did then is kind of reflecting back on here, family and friends coming in to revitalize the station to make it a community center for this community out here. So I feel privileged to come out here and spend my time working with everybody and making it happen.
All right. How about you, Mr. Noah? How do you feel about it?
Well, of course, I'm here to support you and Demetrius, and I'm probably one of the few people here that is a lifetime resident, so I've seen quite a bit of history over the years that I've lived here, and it's just nice to be able to come back and see the old fire station that I remember when I was a kid and used to run up and down the street in this neighborhood. So I think it's a good thing, and hopefully it's going to be something that's going to be beneficial to the community and the region here for a long time.
And I appreciate everybody that's here and all the work that they've been doing, and I agree with what Noah was saying, that we're going to bring it back, and it's going to be something that this community can be very proud of.
Thank you. I have